go through the whole presentation again. Okay, I'm going to go through some of the rules and stuff for the market. Now, this was automatically advancing, and I don't know why, because I didn't program it that way.
It's my fault.
Definitely not. So I may just leave it here, and you can see all the other slides upcoming, because that way I have control over it, because I did something wonky. Okay, so our market is 3 to 6 p.m. on Tuesdays and Fridays. After Labor Day, we go to Fridays only. Opening day is Friday, May 3rd. Last day is Friday, October 25th. The more frequently all of the vendors are there, the better experience for the customers. So consistency in vendors yields consistency in customers. And so if you can be at the market regularly, it benefits everybody to be there as often as you possibly can. We are a producers only market, which means that you have to make what you are selling, with very limited exceptions that have to be approved by the board. So that means that everything you sell, you have to make or grow yourself. There is some, like you can buy stuff, like plants from the auctions or from seed houses, but as long as you are the one putting them in the ground and taking care of them and then harvesting them, that is okay. But everything that you sell, you must be the one producing. This year we've added an application fee. So our membership fee for the year is $80, and for new vendors we require $40 up front for an application fee. We do this because it takes time for us to go through all of the applications, to vet everybody, and to do site visits and stuff like that, and so it takes time and money to do all of that, and so we want to make sure that you're serious. We've had some vendors in the past who we've approved and we've done site visits and then they just never showed up at the market. And so we want to ensure that you are committed and that we are committed to doing that. So that's this year the application fee is $40. For returning members in good standing, you don't have to pay that application fee. You can just pay your membership fee by the first market day. As far as the vetting process for the applications, so we meet as a board and we take all of the applications that we have received and we go through all of them. We will look at your website, your Facebook pages. We want to make sure that you really are producing what you say that you are producing. We want to see the quality of the products, because we know that the higher quality of the products that people find at the market, the more likely they are to come back. We also look for market balance. We can't have 50 bakers at the market because no one will have a good day if there's tons of bakers. Or, same for any of the other categories. And so we strive to, it's hard, but we strive to find a balance where there is a good number of each of the categories so that everybody has a decent day of sales and nobody is being, shows up and there's a million vendors of the same thing and diluting your sales. So we would love to have everybody come to the market. We would love to support you all because we believe in what you do in your small businesses and the local food movement, but we just can't, the market can't support 100 vendors, and so we do have to kind of take those things into account. We do site visits for all new vendors. This site visit is, one, to ensure that you are actually producing what you say you are, but it also helps us learn your story, learn about what you are doing, why you are doing it, so that we can help market and get people excited about what you are bringing to the market. So it's just as much to verify that you are producing your stuff as it is to learn who you are and what you are doing. This year we're going to have QR codes for all of you that will link to your site visit albums that are on our Facebook page. Every year we have people who come and question whether or not our vendors are actually producing what they are selling. And so Bev had the idea of having QR codes for all of you. So you can put the QR codes on your stand, and so when somebody says, there's no way you grew that, you can be like, you can check my site album here, and it'll have all the pictures that we take of all the things that you are making. So there are a few existing vendors who haven't had site visits for a while that we will be doing so that we have updated albums for you this year. But we are going to add that so that we truly live up to the producers only market standard that we strive to. Now, most of these things, most of the rules are all in the vendor packet, and we encourage you to read through that even if you are a returning vendor, because there are changes that we make from year to year. There are little things that we tweak. I'm just going to highlight a few things that aren't in the packet but that are essential for you guys to know how things work. So the day before the market, I need you to check in with me and let me know that you are going to be there. I will put a Facebook post up in the vendor group that says, please let me know if you will be there, and just comment on that and let me know. You can also send me a text, something. I just need to know by 4 p.m. the day before the market, so on Mondays and Thursdays, whether or not you will be there. This is so that we can advertise, because we send out an email to our subscribers that say who's going to be there, and we also do social media posts about who's going to be at the market. So we need to know if you're going to be there. We also create a stall map for the pavilion so that we know where everybody is going to be positioned when they come to the market. We try to move people around a little bit so that as people come into the market, they look around and don't just come and go straight to one person and then leave. There are some vendors that have to be kind of in one spot because of the nature of their trailer or their setup, but we do have a stall map that we will share in the vendor group each time before the market. With no shows, if you tell us that you're going to be at the market and then you don't show up, you don't let us know that something happened, that could result in loss of good standing with the market. Now we know that things happen. People get flat tires, kids get sick, like stuff happens, and we are very understanding. If you let us know that you're not going to be there, even up until the last minute, we're okay with that. It's just, if you don't show up after telling us you'll be there, it reflects badly on the market as well as you guys. So please just have open and frequent communication with us about anything that's going on. One of the biggest rules for the market is the golden rule. We just want all the vendors to treat each other like they would want to be treated, the volunteers and staff that way too, as well as all of the customers. We really are kind of like a family, and we want to keep those good relationships with each other. And that goes into the next form. New thing for this year, at the back of the vendor packet is what we've called the grievance form. We really do not have big issues with this at the market, but we wanted a formal process whereby if you have a problem with a board member or a volunteer, you can use it for that, or a problem with another vendor, like you don't think they're really producing what they're selling, they're undercutting the whole market on prices. If there's some sort of grievance, just fill out the form and turn it into a board member, and then we will address it. So we've kind of initiated a more formal process if there's problems or questions like that. And a new thing that we are going to do this year, we try to have musicians at the market every Tuesday and Friday. We can't pay a lot because we are a nonprofit with a tiny budget. So it's hard to attract musicians. But one of the things that other farmers markets do is at the end of the market, they go around to every vendor and ask each vendor to contribute something to the musicians. By the end of the market, you know kind of what you're going to have left over and would be taking home. So that we ask that you consider contributing something to the musicians' basket at the end of each market day to try and hopefully entice more musicians to come and play at the market. They greatly enhance the atmosphere at the market, and we want to have musicians there all the time. So we're hoping that this is something that could help make that happen better. Any questions about all of that?
I have a dumb question.
Okay, no dumb questions.
Contribution, is that product and or money?
We were thinking product.
Okay.
You don't need to pay them money. I mean, they have tip jars out, and so you can throw some money in there. But yes, we were thinking product. And many of you do that already, I know. Will give something that you have left on your tables to them, and we appreciate that. I know that they do too, but we just kind of wanted to make it a more formal thing, that if you feel like you can contribute something, we would appreciate that. Okay, I'm going to turn the time over to Kim now, Tennell, who's going to go over some marketing, and
I feel like you were quick, much quicker than I was.
I talk fast, and I kind of just railroad through stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I want to add to that basket situation. We're not saying you have to contribute. It is not a requirement.
No.
Just at the end of the day, when Matt and I leave, if I have, beans or tomatoes or something that I know is not going to make it till Friday, I usually want to give that to somebody else. And these guys or girls do come out, and if we're not paying them much, then maybe we could feed them a little, which is maybe enticing them to come, hopefully, back. So. Okay, I have to get my notes out. Sorry, guys. I was a little unprepared. She was so quick. Yeah.
She didn't cover the show-up thing.
Oh, at the time?
Oh, I'm gonna do that. Just one
Okay, I
second.
know it's on you.
Don't you
I didn't
worry,
know that was
Benita.
marketing.
I got it.
Okay.
Don't you worry. So a few of these things I'm gonna talk about might be a little redundant from Amber, so I apologize for that. Normally Brenda goes over some of the marketing pieces that the farmer's market does for you guys, as well as talks about things that you can do for yourself. So we understand that you guys are new to market, maybe even new to a business, but it is important to recognize that you guys do have a business and marketing is very important. Some of you might already have social media pages, logos, websites, maybe you've set up an LLC. If you have not done any of that and you have questions or that's a little daunting for you, please feel free to see me or one of the other market staff here. Brenda, who's not here tonight, unfortunately also has a pretty big passion for helping people set those up, and I think that she's pretty willing to do that. I'm not saying that what we did or how we did it will necessarily fit for you, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we can't help point you in the correct direction. So the market currently uses Facebook, Instagram, and an email marketing platform. I think it's MailChimp. Yes. Okay. We have a couple of Facebook pages. So our main Facebook page, which is Sedalia Area Farmers Market, has about 9,000 followers. We have a community Facebook page, which I'll talk about a little more in a minute, that has about 1,000 followers. Then we have Instagram, which is at like 1,400, and I don't know the MailChimp subscriber list.
1,300.
Okay, 1,300.
Yep.
So when you guys share something to your Facebook page or any social media, most recently, I don't even remember what I shared recently, she or someone else on the staff will then go in and share your post onto their page, reaching those 9,000 people. So you're increasing your reach for free by posting on your social media pages. So it is highly encouraged that not only do you have a social media page, that you are active on that social media page. People do want to see what you're doing in your life. I've had people come up to me and say, how's your son doing with your FFA project? I don't know these people, nor do I realize how they know until it dawns on me that I put this out there for everyone to see. And it makes me recognize that people pay attention to what I have to say, apparently. And so, I don't know why, but they do, I guess. And I think it makes them feel connected with you. They know you, they know about your product, they know what you're selling, they want to know about your life, they might even romanticize the whole farming, being at the farmer's market situation. So it is important. It's also important that she shares it and you hit all those people that are not a part of your social media community.
Kim?
Yes?
Amber, you want them to let you know that they've posted, correct?
We tried, the market tries to follow all vendors. Now, sometimes some do fall through the cracks, but so if you can tag us, do at SedaliaAreaFarmersMarket.com when you post, then I get a notification and I will be more likely to see it and share it. Because sometimes Facebook's algorithm doesn't show stuff up. So
Right.
tagging us is the best way to do it.
And to be doubly sure, they could even text us
They
and say
could.
they just posted.
Yeah.
So over here, and I know it's a little bit smaller, I just put up a few of the Facebook pages and an Instagram page of current vendors that we have up there just for reference. With that Facebook page, Amber or a staff member is the only one that can post to that page. With the Sedalia Area Farmers Market community page, You as vendors can post to it, but it does go through a approval process. So once you post it, an admin will then get a notification, and then as long as it has to do with the farmer's market, I'm guessing, she will go ahead and approve it.
We do pre-approve people, like, I just pre-approved you, because I noticed I kept getting notifications, I was like, I need to just pre-approve you.
It's
Give it
risky.
to me
Yes.
already.
So-
Got it. Okay, and Benita does pretty good, doing that. It's not as much of a regularly used page as I would probably like, but it is another opportunity for another 1,000+ people to get out in front of. On top of those 2 pages, she mentioned earlier, there is a SAFM vendors page, and I don't know that you can see it, but it's actually right here, that's why I took this screenshot here. That page is specific, it's a private page for staff and active, like current vendors. Amber will post on there your check-in, which you don't specifically have to check in through that way. You can message her, but that is the primary way of checking in. She posts the stall map, as she said, so you'll know where you need to go. The, any other information that's been helpful, maybe things that if there's a canning class going on through the USDA or FESMA training, or there's some new grants that came out that might pertain to, irrigation systems or infrastructure, she will post those to that page as well, just giving you guys notification that, hey, there's these new things out here that you might not know about that may pertain or help you in some way. Okay, so this here, this is the other point I was gonna make, is the type of post that she would post on market day. So we would check in with her, she'll see what's coming. Clearly this was a fall post, we have Carmen's Mums. I don't remember who the coffee vendor was there.
That was Girls Next Door.
Okay, Girls Next Door, Yoder's Fried Pies, probably Benita's Pumpkins, not
Those are
Benita's,
actually
sorry.
Angie's.
Those are
Oh,
Angie's
sorry,
Pumpkins.
Beulah's Pumpkins. She will share this or she will post this on Sedalia Farmers Market, but then she also shares this in the vendor group, the private vendor group, for then us to share on our pages. So then it hits their 9,000 people and it hits each of the groupings. So if I have 1,000, you have 1,000. Now we've hit 15,000+ people, plus the email system, plus the Instagram. So it really is important to have these pages set up to get the information out there. The more we market, the more we talk about it, the more customers are gonna know about it, and then they're gonna come to the market.
And we also have texting, I forgot to tell you, we do texting too. So we have a few hundred people on the texting list.
The other piece I wanted to mention quickly was special events down here that we, for some reason, Little Sprouts didn't make it up there. First Friday of the month is artisan vendor, so we have artisan vendors come in on that day on top of the current vendors that are vending. New this year, on the third Friday of the month, we're gonna try to do some food truck roundups to bring even more hot food, different items to the market. We're also hoping by them marketing that they're gonna be there on their social media pages, it'll bring in their customers as well. And then we also do Little Sprouts, which is head by Teresa, and that's a, I guess, family event targeted towards kids a little bit. She'll do things on maybe how carrots grow, or beans, or maybe bees, or something else, and there'll be an activity, and that brings in people as well. On social media, she mentioned this already, but I'll say it again, the farm visits are also put on there, which the QR codes are great this year, but that is another area where when they come and they get your story and they take your pictures, they do want to talk about you, they do want to tell people why you're coming, people want to see what you're going to be bringing. So I really think that that's important to recognize too, that that'll be there. Any questions about this piece? And I'm sorry if I talk, I'm a fast talker too.
Okay.
A lot of railroad.
So this is a little bit on the marketing side, but it's also reiterating this piece about the auction. So the market, again, is a producer-only market. By definition in the vendor packet, members may sell only their products. The resale of any products that are not grown or created by you is strictly forbidden. We take this pretty seriously, as do actually most of our customers are pretty aware of it. As a growers-only market, specifically, I'm gonna gear a little more towards like produce and flower growers, but it does cover everybody. Matt and I try to refrain from going at all. Keep in mind that there is no rule that you can't go, But it is hard for customers to see us there, and they can be really quick to make judgment calls about what we're doing there. It really calls into question the vendor integrity, the integrity of the market, being producer only. I'm not saying that you can't go. I'm not saying that we haven't gone. But, and there's no rules about purchasing from there. There's no rules for yourself. There's no rules about going and, you know, God, it was a couple years ago, Matt and I had an issue, I don't even remember what it was, irrigation, could have been an insect
Herbs.
issue. What was it?
Herbs.
No, I'm talking about the broccoli.
Just-
We-
Yeah.
We had an issue with broccoli. Clearly we have issues with multiple things, but that time it was the broccoli. And I was due to transplant the following week. And there was no way I was gonna be able to reseed, get it going again and transplant the following week. And so we went down to the auction, I think it was the next day. I think we bought a couple hundred transplants, put them out. Because I put them into my garden, I did not sell the plants, I sold the fruit from the plant, the broccoli head. That is acceptable. What is not acceptable is me taking those tray of 50, plopping them into little 4-packs and then saying, I'm selling you broccoli starts. That's not creating something else. You can also go and get like flower plugs, put them into a basket, you're tending and you know, you've created this basket and by the time Mother's Day rolls around, you have this whole flowering. Those are okay too. You just have to be careful and mindful about the type of marketing of yourself you're putting out there by going to these auctions and doing that. And it's specifically auctions. It's not saying you can't go to Tractor Supply and purchase some starts there, but people have a tendency to give you more of that stink eye at the auctions. Okay, so you're getting ahead of me, just give me a second.
Can I say one more
Yes.
thing about that? You may be getting to this, but if you do go to an auction, just
I'm
let,
getting there.
okay,
Yeah.
go ahead.
So, the other piece with the marketing of this is, people have a tendency to want to use the Missouri grown flats. I don't know if most of you know what I'm talking about. Marty's shaking her head because she knows, yeah. Most of us that already sell know. And honestly, our first year, this is our 7th year growing, but we're just gonna say it's our 5th year because those first 2 years were not as much fun as I would like them to be. But we brought in Missouri grown boxes thinking, we're Missouri growers, this is great. And to be honest with you, not realizing that those primarily come out of the auction. So when people are coming up to your table to purchase and your tomatoes or your produce are in these Missouri grown boxes, it gives them pause because they must just think the only place those boxes come from are from the auction, which is not true. Marty and Joe use those boxes for fried pies, but nobody questions them because you're not buying fried pies at the auction, right? Sometimes Matt and I will get boxes at Sam's Club, and I try to steer away from the fruit boxes. You know, I'd love to get a Driscoll strawberry flat because it fits all my strawberries just perfect, but if I bring it to the market, they're gonna ask why I'm selling Driscoll strawberries. So you just have to think about these things, about what you're saying when you're bringing those types of things. It sends negative marketing out, even if you're not doing anything wrong, just unintentionally. I feel like you have something to say. No? Okay.
No,
Got a
I'm just,
question.
sorry, my camera.
Uh-huh.
If you get a box, does anybody ever like get a stencil for your farm and actually stencil your own box?
So we haven't done that because I'm cheap, number one. It's expensive enough as it is. You can. We had a stamp at one point where, in the beginning, when we were super adventurous, we were hand stamping bags when we had time. We didn't have time then either, I guess. But I think from a marketing standpoint, that I've seen people make these wood boxes and they've been like, you know, like the branded, thank you, with their name, and you know, any of that stuff is fine. It's just
Time consuming.
inexpensive. It's time consuming and it can be expensive. But you can do it. Or if you find a cheap place that would like to do a bunch for all of us with different names, you know, I might be willing to go in on that as well. So what Amber was saying a minute ago was that even though it is not required, we do request very nicely that you let her know if you are going to go to an auction. We've had customers come to our market table to report vendors that they have seen at the auctions. It is great for our staff to be able to answer immediately and say, nope, they had a big issue in their house, the tomato starts all went out, and they had to go down there and get these starts. And then also give them the rules of what we can actually do, and explain. It stops that speculation immediately. I would much rather have that conversation and stop that customer there than us say, okay, thank you for telling us, and they leave and they think they've unearthed some, gem.
Scandal.
Yeah, some scandal. And then Amber has to come over and be like, hey Kim, so I heard you were at the auction. What were you doing there? So then I give a perfectly plausible reason as to why I'm there, but that answer isn't given to that customer. And then they leave, they come back, and I'm still there, so now they're questioning whether or not the market's really hard on being producer only. There's just unfortunately so many tentacles and weird ways that this can go, that open, frequent communication, being mindful about what you're doing, specifically if you are a produce and flower grower, is key to this situation with auctions. Any questions about that? Perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna talk really quickly about farm stands. I feel like I've been doing farm stands for a little bit. Amber has seen, I can set up a mean farm stand and real quick when I come flying in there, which don't do that, by the way, but yes. So keep in mind that Matt and I are produce only growers. While at one point we did do some value added, we did have a commercial kitchen for a little bit. Our stand and the way that I set it up is specifically to promote produce. There are a few, I feel like, hard and fast rules that apply to everybody. But if you are already a veteran vendor, your situation works for you, great, keep doing that. So number one is a clean table. Please use a solid table. Most of us use the white lifetime tables from like a Costco or a Sam's Club. They come in 4, 6, and 8 feet, I think, ranging from like $60 to $100. Please refrain from using grandma's 1965 dip in the middle cardboard table. You open the legs and the cobwebs are coming out. It just doesn't give a great impression, okay, to people. Nor do I really want to buy items from you when that happens. Also, I would highly recommend a tablecloth. I would highly recommend one that is cloth, that is washable. Some of them will list wrinkle-free, so you can throw them in the washer, throw them in the dryer, and you're good to go. I would recommend nothing busy. It gets a little too crazy on the table with a print. Some of them, like ours, has the water beading at the top, so when I have water dripping from my veg, it beads, I can wipe it away, and it dries pretty quickly. They're not that expensive. I think we got them on Amazon, so they are out there and easily accessible. I posted a few different pictures of stands because while I personally don't mind this guy here, I have a huge issue with this down here. Nobody wants to see this, and it makes me feel a little food safety-esque, like maybe Pettis County should come back in. I don't like my food sitting on the ground like that.
It's supposed to be on the ground.
Probably not, but I only want customers to see what I want them to see. And behind my table, it is hot mess express, okay? I know it. It's busy, I'm by myself, it gets crazy. I don't want them to see that. The top is fine, he's a small vendor, it's fine. You don't want that at the bottom, though. You don't need them seeing, and this is even baked goods or whatever else. You don't need all the boxes stacked up underneath. You really would like your tablecloth to go to the ground. Almost sort of like a storefront, I guess you could say, in a way. You also want really solid pricing. So this guy does have like a chalkboard. It's not great in the picture, but it's like a little haphazard, which my OCD does go a little bit here with some of these. But these chalkboards here, they have 3 different names, like it's like kale, carrots, and fennel maybe. It's very clearly written what the prices are. In the market gardening world, we have this term, stack it high and watch them fly. I love that, this whole elevation. People want to see things on eye level. So just be very mindful that when you come in, it's not some junky table, no tablecloth, and you're kind of throwing your wares on the table. You're really not going to pull people to you that way. You are a business. You want to be inviting people in. So just be kind of mindful of those things. So this is our stand from, that one I think was the first market in Sedalia last year. Mr. Burge is in the picture too there, yeah. And